hello. I'm Dr. Jaye Johnson, and joining me on this episode of the Elev8ed Moment is the talented, the amazing, the beautiful, the sexy, the smart Kim Coles, everybody.
Hey, everybody, I'm happy to be a guest here with you on the Elev8ed Moment with Dr. Jaye Johnson. Thank you for inviting me.
And I should say we're broadcasting this episode across the Elev8ed Guru channels, but we're also streaming this on your pages as well. So you want to say anything to your peeps who are joining us?
I want to say hello to all of my peeps, all the community, wink, that are here, and those of you who would like to join the community. I might put a link a little bit later on for you to make that happen.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Well, on this episode of the Elev8ed Moment, I asked Kim to join me because she is what I consider a magical manifester. A magical manifester. And in essence, what that means is Kim is magical at manifesting. And so we wanted to talk today about using your imagination as fuel for manifestation. Since this is the first week of the Chinese New Year, the Human Design New Year, and it's all about creativity and how we can utilize our creativity to manifest what we want in our life, I thought I'd bring Kim on because she's one of the most creative people that I know, and she's a magical manifester. Kim, tell us about it.
You know, we all are manifestors. I've just learned over the last few years to really co-create what I want and be very, very conscious and very intentional in being aware of the possibilities of manifesting, of attracting in what I want in my life, and being clear about what I don't want and not focusing on that. And there's a whole system of manifesting. It is magical, but it's also very practical. And there are things that you can do and things that you should do and things that you already do that manifest in beautiful ways, in challenging ways. And when I became really, really aware of that is when much more became available to me. And I don't mean just in the way of love. And I'm pointing right there because EJ happens to be sitting across the desk from me, literally like in the room, like less than 10 feet away. But not only love, excuse me, but also so many hopes and dreams and aspirations and inspirations that I have in my life that have come to pass because I was very intentional about co-creating with the divine what I wanted to manifest, what I wanted to see manifest in my life in a positive way.
Got it. And so I want to shout out some people who are saying hello to you. Do you want to shout them out?
Yeah, I hadn't even turned on the comments. So I see Macy and I see Monica Jones and Boombastic Elements. Well, hello, Lady D, and hello, your auntie. Love it. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
So the cool thing about manifestation is that we're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just said, everyone's a manifester. Everybody manifests. We all are always manifesting, whether we're conscious of it or not. We're manifesting something. And sometimes the manifestations that appear in our life or that we experience don't represent what we desire, right? Because you get a lot of coaching clients that say that to you,
right?
I'm sure.
Right.
And they always ask you, like, okay, how can I manifest faster? Or how can I get what I want instead of what's showing up? What do you say to them?
One of my favorite things about you is you too are a magical manifestor, and you are someone who I've witnessed in the 3 years or so that we've gotten to know each other and spent time together. You are very clear about keeping your pathway clear and keeping your intentions clear. And I would say that that is one of the, I mean, there's so many steps to it, but I would say one of the secret sauce steps to manifesting what you really want is to stay clear about what it is you really want. Stay intentional and stay in an inspired action, and understand that you are co creating all the time. And when things come into your experience that you think are not wanted or that seem unwanted, is to very quickly turn it around, or very quickly go like, what's the lesson I can learn here? What can I be grateful for here? How can I celebrate the evidence that I was thinking about something negative and something negative showed up? What if I would have turned that around and start thinking about the positive thing that I want? And so just to experiment with yourself and see, um, pay attention and experiment, and watch, and note down, journal how often things show up for you that you've been thinking about on either side, what would be considered good and bad. And I've watched you do that. Watch you do that beautifully, EJ.
Yeah, I love looking at life like a experiment, like you just said. I love that, like being curious about what's happening, charting your course, like making notes of things that stand out or themes that run through your life. And I know from being an admin in some of your programs, and watching you coach other people, that I I know one of the things that you coach people around, especially in the Manifest Me community, is around the limiting beliefs and
Right.
adjusting what you believe about your experience,
Right.
and that's like foundational.
It is foundational. And, sometimes, I'm going to just speak to the elephant in the room that, sometimes it's difficult, right? Or it seems difficult and challenging when there's all these things that you want and they don't seem to be showing up. I sometimes just look for evidence of other manifestations. Like, okay, I'm having a hard time with this. Let me just look and imagine, and, look outside of my own realm for things that are happening in a positive way. People who are succeeding, people who seem to be figuring it out. And I go, that to me is evidence. If they can make it happen, so can I. And really, that's why, um, watching, people who you think are inspirational, or hearing inspirational stories, if you feel as if you're not where you want to be, um, it is nice to pay attention to uh, other people, other experiences, other situations where you see that it is happening, and you go, well, that's proof that it can happen for me too. And this is an example I always give, and it's so simple, but I think back in 2008, when there was that huge, recession, and housing crisis, and financial crisis that was going on, and some people say that that's fitting to happen again. The example I always give is, I remember driving through, like, a posh neighborhood. It was Beverly Hills, to be exact. And I remember this particular route. It was a route I needed to go to wherever I was going during that time, on a repeated times through this particular neighborhood. And I watched this house being built. So here it was, this fear mongering and conversation around the housing market is falling down, and people are, and I'm not saying that that wasn't happening, but all I needed was one bright, shiny example that somebody was building their house, and it was beautiful, and it was going to be palatial and gorgeous. And rather than folding my hands and go like, what do they know? How come they got a house and other people don't have a house? How come, I have to sell my house to try to, pay some bills? And how come? I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me it's possible? Everyone's telling me that things are falling down and things are horrible out there, but somebody has figured it out. And then it gave me evidence to look for how many other people had begun figuring out how to still thrive in this time that everyone said was dangerous and difficult and fear mongering and doom. And so You look for the bright shining light, and all you have to do is start looking for it. It will show up in your life in magical ways. When you go looking for the good is always there. It's always there. And if you need that just to keep you tuned in and dialed in, then do that. And the more you dial in that way, the more you plug in that way, the more you plug into source. And I mean, really plug in, not just, saying it over and over again, not just, going through the motions, like really feeling deeply that possibilities are available for somebody. So that means, why couldn't it be me? It just opened up a lot of things for me.
Yeah, I think looking out there and seeing it as an example for someone else, I know from my own manifestation experiences that it allows me to see it for myself. But
Mhm.
that isn't necessarily everybody else's perspective, right?
Right.
There are certainly times and people who look out into their world and they don't see what they desire,
Mm.
and so my question for you is, how do you manifest when your experience, or how do you maintain being in a state of manifestation
Mm.
when your experience, what you see with your eyes, what you touch, what you feel, is that of, it represents something that you maybe don't want in your life? Maybe the
Mm.
experience is painful, or
Mhm.
it it clearly looks like lack.
Right. Well, this turned into an interview, EJ. I thought you were going to answer some of these questions too. I will say, I'll answer this, and then I'll send it back to you. It's You've heard it before, you've heard it 1,000 times, but it's something that absolutely works, and it is gratitude, gratitude, looking for something to be grateful for. And I have been in that space, and I know everyone within the sound of my voice right now has been in that space where they were in despair and in challenge, and things looked dark and they looked dismal and it was difficult. But know what? You were able to take a breath. That gets to be something you're grateful for. You woke up another day to give it another shot. That's something to be grateful for. Like, I began going to like the basics. Air. I have some water to drink. I have a roof over my head right now. My limbs seem to be working. I have friends. Like, I began just looking, just like as close as what I could touch and taste and feel right here. What could I be joyful about? What could I be grateful for? What could I look for the positive in? And what happened was, and you talk about this all the time, EJ, with your clients, and I know because we do a lot of this together. It's sometimes just about raising your vibration just one level. You go from despair to like a little bit of maybe, a little bit of maybe to a little bit of possibility, a little bit of possibility. Like, it really is about going up that emotional scale one step at a time. And um, I really think that God, the universe, source, however you language it, says, thank you for noticing that there is some good around you. And I'm going to send you some more good as an example. I'm going to send you a little bit more good so you can see. Let me see if you notice it. And you keep noticing it and noticing it until opportunities show up. And I'll put the question back to you, but I wanted to give an example of that. I did this in my life for real, for real. Long story short, I was going through a difficult time. I started reading a book about uh, I needed to turn my money story around. And I started reading, it was Shelley Campbell's book, actually. I forget the name of it now. She's got two: Zero to Zillionaire,
The Wealthy Spirit.
The Wealthy Spirit. And The Wealthy Spirit, I just read one page a day. It's set up that way. You just read one page a day. And it got me in a state of gratitude. It got me in a state of joy. And within less than 2 weeks, a job offer came through for me that was great and was needed and gave me fresh perspective. And so, just a day at a time, a moment at a time, a breath at a time, a gratitude at a time. And the cool thing about that story is I got a chance to meet her years later. It turns out that friends of friends of friends of friends, I got a chance to meet this woman who wrote this book and changed my life in 14 days or in an instant. Because in the cosmos, in the grander scheme of things or scream of things, there really is no time. And I felt better in 14 days, but it felt like it was no time at all because now I was on the path. So I would just urge everyone to just find what you can be grateful for right now, and then the next moment, right now. And sometimes it really is that kind of triage, a triage of joy and gratitude. Just find a moment. So yeah, that's that. And I'm going to kick the question back to you. You turned this into an interview.
What was the question?
I don't know what the question was, just how do you stay attuned? How do you tap in when it looks like it's not there? When you look at your bank account and there's a dollar in it, like I can't pretend there's millions and millions of dollars in my bank account. I can't get there. I can't get to that mantra or that affirmation. But what can I get to? Maybe that's the question to you.
Well, number one, I agree with you. It's the next step up. And looking at something and saying, you know what? I'm grateful that in this moment, literally, you may have to take it moment by moment, breath by breath, to find something to be grateful for and to hold on to that gratitude for just a little bit of time until something else shows up or you find something else to be grateful for as well, and you continue to build on that. Gratitude is definitely foundational. The other thing that tends to help me when, let's say, my circumstances don't reflect back to me what it is that I want to manifest is breathing. Literally just as simple as breathing. Just stopping for a moment and taking a breath and recognizing that I'm really okay right in this second. Yes, I'm maybe frustrated, or yes, my bank account may not reflect enough zeros, or yes, I don't have whatever it is that I want. But just taking that moment to pause and just breathe. And oftentimes it's that breath that I end up being grateful for. And then it just, it spirals up, if you will.
Yeah. And to put that oxygen in your system is good for it too, right? On a very scientific level, right? Yeah.
And then there's, asking, right? Mm-hmm. There's always the asking of, okay, creator, God, whatever you call it, what steps should I take? Where do I need to look? And then the listening, right? So there's asking and there's deep listening, so that what you hear doesn't come from desperation, but it really comes from inspiration, from the divine saying, this is the path, this is the direction you should go. And then it's all about trusting that process from there. But I have a question for you, Kim, because there was a point that came up in the Manifest Me community, was how do I manifest without so many steps? Like, how can I manifest faster, shorter time, seeing what I want immediately? Like, let's condense time. Right. Any tips?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say hello to everyone who's joining us now. I'm Kim Coles. This is Dr. Jaye Johnson. We're going to talk about imagination because we've got a really cool story to share with you all in just a moment. So I would say faster, and all the tips we've been talking about will move it along faster. The first step is to visualize, what do you want? What do you want? I remember I had a coach who would say that. I'm going to stop asking me that because I don't know what I want. And the answer is yes, you do. What do you want? And you may not know exactly how you want it to look. So the question, like, what do you want? Well, I want a big house on the hill. Well, what does that mean? The fastest way to all of this is to get to, as you say, the words you use are the feeling tone. What do you want, and how do you want to feel when you get what this thing is that you think you want? So you may think that you want to travel the world, but what do you really want? Like, emotionally, what do you want? Well, what do you want? You want to feel freedom. You want to explore different cultures. Before you even get on the plane or get on the cruise ship or get on the, like to take the trip, you can start reading, you can start exploring, you can start immersing yourself in the feeling tone, as you would say, of what it is that you want. So I want to be rich. Okay, but what does being rich mean? Does it mean your bills are all paid? Does it mean that your children want for nothing? Does it mean that you are able to get a new wig to cover up your hair? What does feeling rich mean? How will it feel? How will you feel when you have those things? And so I think that the feeling, the emotion behind the thing that you want, or the things that you want, it really is one of the things to really speed it up, is to be tapped into, how do I want to feel? And then it actually won't matter what it looks like. It won't matter the package that it comes in. You'll know it when you feel it. You're like, oh, this was it. I hate to keep using you as an example, but I didn't know what I, my second marriage didn't work out, and I was clear that it was time for something new, and I was clear that there was something I wasn't resonating with to receive what I wanted, and I'll get this. I'm gonna just be single and mingle. But I got really clear about how I wanted to feel for myself, how I wanted to feel safe and secure and loved and cherished. And I was like, I can do that for myself. And as I began really making sure that I was doing that for myself, being in integrity with myself, oh, look, lo and behold, someone even more wonderful than I could have ever drawn or put a list of things together showed up. Happened to be you. Glad that it was you, grateful that it was you. And I was like, ooh, this stuff works, because I got clear about the emotions, about how I wanted to feel about myself in my life, and all of the other things that go with that. What would you say is your way to supercharge something, to move things faster?
I think, well, first of all, there's Nancy in the comments. Can you see her comment? She said, Dr. EJ, you said that you have techniques that we can use to reprogram our brain.
Well, can I do a shout out to what she's talking about? Yeah. EJ runs a really beautiful book club.
Book.
That's free to join. Maybe you could put a link up for it. By the way, I'm coughing. I'm
it's the book
recovering
from. The name of the book is
A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And so he created this Elev8ed book club to discuss the book. And every Thursday, you and this beautiful group of souls, including Nancy Williams, get together and discuss this book. And again, it's free, so maybe you could put up the link for folks if you're really interested. If you're really interested in diving into these principles even more. So yeah, we can get that information for you. But go ahead, let you answer. I want to give that context.
Yeah. So Nancy, I appreciate your ask, Nancy, boldly asking for a PDF of techniques to reprogram her brain. And to deliver to the book club on Thursday.
Oh, is that I thought that was available already.
No. She wants reprogramming techniques.
Okay. So, nobody better to ask that.
I'm going to give you part one right now. The first thing to reprogram your brain is to make a commitment to create a practice that is daily, that you will not omit on any given day that you will absolutely commit to. That's step one. Step two, that practice has to include a technique, a study, some sort of ritual or engagement that speaks to your spiritual well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and your physical well-being. And I call it the connection practice. That connection practice has to include some sort of spiritual practice, mental practice, emotional practice, and physical practice. All four are important. And so that is your first step. That's foundational for reprogramming anything, is to put that connection practice in place. And then on the book club tomorrow night, I'll give you a few more.
I think you're also discussing this in your elevated year, because I have the workbook. Yes. And I see you've got like 7 steps for the connection. But can you imagine, there's people who talk about, like we're talking about, reprogramming your mind and mindset control. It's a practice.
It's a practice.
And just like you learned what you learned, when I learned not too long ago that a belief is not necessarily the truth. In fact, often beliefs aren't necessarily the truth. They don't have anything to do with truth. That doesn't mean that a belief can't be true. But a belief is something that you just believe over and over and over and over again. And we've been programmed and conditioned, and as children and in society and all the things. And so we have these beliefs that we believe to be true. And then we go out and have evidence of it because we believe it so much that we start to see it. And we keep seeing it, and it keeps showing itself to you. And so that rich exercise you just gave, that's everything right there, EJ, is to be committed to drop it into all those areas for yourself. Be committed to turning it around. Go ahead.
First of all, hi, Vanessa Perry. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Vanessa Perry.
Jace, thanks for joining. First of all, the beliefs are merely agreements, right? We agree with them, decide that they are the truth, and then we act as if they are truth. Now, here's what I want to say to everybody. If you can take the energy and fervor in which you take a belief, act as if it is true, treat it like it's the truth, if you could take that same energy and put it towards what you want to manifest, that's how you expedite the process. See, our beliefs come from our past experience, other people, information we see. And like you said, Kim, we act as if it's true. And the universe is like, yes, here, let me give you more evidence that it is true. But if you take the very same thing that you want to create in your life, and you put that same energy, unwilling to believe anything different except that manifestation, and you treat it and act as if it is the truth, it's the fastest way to get it in your life, to manifest it.
That's everything right there.
Yeah.
You just gave the secret sauce, the zoom, move it faster. Because we have these beliefs. Well, money doesn't grow on a tree. Well, all men are dogs. Well, I can lose the weight. Well, I'm too old to. Well, I'm too young to. Well, I'm too this. And so then life begins to show you the evidence. Oh, you said you're too old. So guess what? You're too old to do so and so. And yet you see evidence of other people your age and older doing things. And you're like, well, I don't believe that I can do it. And so you can't.
You're manifesting that, though.
But we start out talking about that all the time. Manifesting that. Ratch now. Now. I don't know what I was going to tell. I was going to give away something I can't give away. But
what were you going to say?
I feel like I manifested getting sick the last couple of days. I'm going to be transparent. I needed a little rest. I think I called in the cocoa. I mean, nobody wants the cocoa, right? But that's a guaranteed way to sit your behind down and make you rest. I've been working really hard. There's, my new job, which I can't tell anybody about. There's, work that I'm working on my thing. I see Vanessa Perry is here. I'm going live with the authors after this because I've got an update for you. An update that's not an update, that's an update. And I just was like, I need a little bit of rest. And I think the universe or God says, oh, then your wish is my command. You will rest. You're going to get the cocoa. You're going to have positive. And I remember going to work that day going, cause I had a little bit of a scratchy throat. But interesting, 2 weeks before I had a scratchy scratchy throat and a little bit of a sniffle and had a cold, but not tested negative every day. This particular job, they test us every day. On my way to work that day, I called my mother. I go, Mom, I feel like hearing your voice. I was like, what? I feel like hearing my mother's voice. And I feel like I'm going to get sick. I got to work. I tested positive. They're like, go home. I'm like, oh, okay. And rest. I'm like, okay, let me get some rest. I slept the first day like I hadn't slept in a long time. I'm not saying that.
Magical manifester.
Magical manifester.
Magical manifester.
And now I've tested negative and they've called me back to work. Yay! Anyway, yeah. Desire plus belief equals manifestation. No diggity, no doubt. It's true.
No matter what.
You're manifesting no matter what.
There's no way around it. You can't stop it. You can only guide it towards something you want.
Yeah.
But it's always coming. You're always getting exactly what you desire or what you say you desire. And that goes back to one other thing that I do want to highlight or point out around using your imagination to fuel your manifestation. To use your imagination to fuel your manifestation, you use that in the times where you cannot see what it is you desire. It's up to us to use our imagination to create that for ourselves. If you cannot see what it is that you desire, if you know that you want deep, unconditional love in your life and you look at every relationship you have and it's not present, then utilize your imagination to create the feeling of that. And then you can start to celebrate it because you know if you can imagine it, then it is possible.
It wouldn't be possible if you couldn't. It's not available to you if you couldn't imagine it. No, I'm saying that wrong. Like the fact that you can imagine it means that it's available to you. Did that come out right? It's been a long day. Yeah, and that's, this is what we talked about. We decided to do this. It really is about creating. And so some people create with art or with playing music or, making cool, I can't show it to you, it's on my wall right now, cool vision boards. But the creation happens in here. Everything that exists started out as an imagination, started out as a creation in someone's mind. So why not create? What would it feel like to feel really clear? And what would it feel like to feel loved? And I wonder what that would feel like. I wonder what it would feel like to have, whatever it is you want, the simplest and the biggest things. What would that feel like? What would that evoke in my life? Freedom and clarity, peace, some sort of peacefulness, some sort of joy. And you can have that right now. And, I wanted to tell everyone can I tell everybody where the spark of where this conversation came from?
Yes.
Because it's important, because you spoke to something just now. It's about using your power of imagination. And that phrase that people say, use your powers for good. If only you would use your powers for good. So the other day we happened to be on a blog site, some blog site that Oh, did you know that's where I was going to go?
I forgot.
Okay, yeah, that had said some, some nice things and some not so nice things. So first of all, we both are fans, and we've talked before about the 4 agreements, right? So Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. I always forget one, so go along with me here, EJ. And we'll say the one that I'm thinking of for last. So always do your best, and your best changes from moment to moment, but always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. That means don't gossip, don't say negative things about yourself. I'm saving don't things take things personally for the last one. What's the third one?
Right.
It's right behind me? What do you mean it's right behind me?
Don't make assumptions.
Oh, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions, because you cause all kinds of problems when you make assumptions for yourself and for the other people too. And don't take things personally, which is real hard. It's real hard, especially if you are in a position where people are going to comment on your work or your art, or people have opinions. So if you are the favorite, maybe you make delicious cakes, and at the bake sale, you are the queen of baking cakes, and you are the one who loves to take your cakes, and most people love them, but there's somebody's like, I don't really like them, they kind of dry. And it's like, everybody else likes my cake, you're the only one that doesn't like my cakes. You are a person of influence, and there may be somebody who doesn't like your cakes, and you're not supposed to take either the ones who are complimentary, like, girl, can I get some of those cake? Can I get an extra slice of cake? You're not supposed to take that personally. And you're not supposed to take personally the one who says, I actually don't like your cakes, they're kind of dry. And are you using a dark chocolate or milk chocolate? I don't like them. You're not supposed to take either of them personally. So I say this to say that each one of us, everyone in our lives, not just somebody who may or may not be famous, has people in their lives who will be critical of you, who will be complimentary and critical of you. Right, EJ? And so, am I giving too much context?
No.
So we were reading a blog post that had some, I don't know how it popped up. I get alerts on my name, and a blog post popped up, and it was an event for a show that I'm on called Finding Happy on Bounce TV. And we started reading through some of the comments, because they had a picture of me and T.C. Carson, who played Kyle Barker on Living Single. He came to surprise me. He was there, and he looks good. Oh, y'all are still friends. Little comments that were cute. And EJ was there and took pictures, and there were people like, oh, you two look happy, or oh wow, oh, she looks happy. Or then the other comments came. I'm trying to think of which one was the one that I want to repeat that was the most. Was there one in particular that you would repeat, or you don't want to repeat?
I don't remember.
Oh, see, it's one of my favorite things about you. Like, you will not remember the negativity. I love that about you. Let's just say that some people said some not so flattering things, like, ooh, one day he gonna leave her for a younger woman.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Or I don't know. Or they talked about somebody else's hairline or something. Just like this person was using their, so one person came up with a whole imaginative, very, very creative story. So he's probably going to leave her for a younger woman, just like that last husband of hers, that didn't work out, and she probably can't keep a man. They created this whole story that wasn't meaningful, it wasn't helpful, and they were anonymous, which is the other piece of it. It's like, you get to be anonymous and talk about me and my life, but I don't know who you are. I can't go and peer behind the curtain and see if you got yourself all the way together. And so I have to try not to get my feelings hurt. And, most times the people are really, really silly. And what's interesting is this particular blog site, I remember years ago when I first went natural and cut out all my extensions, I had my little curly afro. This is, where's my hair? I'll pull out a little, this is really my hair. That's my hair. And the person had said, wow, she had her braids in for such a long time. You'd think her hair be down to her ankles by now. And I was, what? No, I got my extensions taken out. I cut my hair, and this is what my hair does. My hair is springy. This is what my hair does. I got my feelings so hurt. Anyway, all this to say that this person created this imagination, uh, a post that they sat down and typed out that was mean and rude and crass.
Oh, that was the one that says that I was going to get on Weight Watchers.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
now
right.
I remember. I was sitting here trying to remember what they said.
Right. They said, well, they said
I thought
actually,
it was hilarious.
well, they said actually we were both going to probably
we were going to do Weight Watchers, and then we were going to split up or something like
and you won't get it. You were going to leave me for a younger woman.
Yeah.
That
there
person took the time. They imagined what would happen if all of this set of things happened. Like, that's not our reality at all. That's not, I don't see that as probable or even possible. But imagine if that person had seen the picture and just let the picture float and had whatever thought they had, but they spent their time and their energy imagining what they want to happen that's good in their own life. And so I don't understand when people comment on the housewives or all the other, like, in fact, I've stopped watching those shows because I don't have the energy to be focused on what those people over there are doing and how they doing it wrong. And I wonder if they cheating on so-and-so. And I wonder if so-and-so is getting a little fat. Like, I don't have time. I'm busy manifesting joy and possibilities and abundance and prosperity in my life and really wanting to teach it to other people. And so I'll get off my soapbox, EJ. I'll let you talk.
Number one, it goes back to what you said about don't take things personally.
It's wasted energy, like somebody here said.
Yeah, it is wasted energy. Now imagine for a moment that if the energy put into that post were spent and put into something that you want to see in your life, or put into manifesting the life that you want. Like, it's no different than spending your energy on beliefs that don't serve you any longer. It's no different. Spending time on the internet, trolling, doing whatever, is that energy is that you're spending there, or that folks spend there, is no different than the energy we spend in beliefs that no longer serve us. Yeah. And, don't take things personal. I don't take things personal, so it's like, whatever.
You're good at that.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it because listen, who doesn't want that phrase, don't take anything personally, means you cannot take the compliments in personally and go like, oh, that person really loves me. I'm so perfect, just like they say they are. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And you can't take, like, you kind of ugly. I don't know if I like you. I don't like your work. You're not funny to me. You can't take any of it in.
Either side.
I was like, I can't now. I'm gonna take a compliment now.
Yeah, see,
I'm gonna take a compliment, EJ. Now
the people that say, "Oh, I love you, Kim Phillips. You're so wonderful, smooch, 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 woo, 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 woo."
Wait, I'm wearing a woo, woo, woo t-shirt. Woo, woo, woo.
Those people, while well-meaning and sending love your way, that's wonderful that they're doing that. It's positive energy they're putting into the space, but it's not for you to take personal, because as human beings, we're very fickle. Yeah. One moment we'll love you.
Ooh, child.
And in the same breath, we can't stand you. And I'm no exception to that. I can absolutely love, a waiter who comes and treats me kind, but let him screw up my order and then he's dead to me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad.
He should be fired immediately.
He should be fired, banished from the face of the planet. No, that's just how we are. You can't use what someone else says or feels about you as justification for who you are. That has to come from within. And so when we're manifesting and we get input from outside, like, why do you want to start a business? Well, what makes you think you'll be a good business owner, or how you think you're gonna get $1 million? When you hear that coming from the outside, or if you hear, hey, you know what? I think you're gonna do it. None of that matters. What matters is what you think and feel. If you buy into either side, you've already set yourself back.
And the other thing that is said about that particular agreement, that particular law, is that what people say about you says more about them than it does about you. And that's really what sparked us wanting to come and have this conversation, that here's these people with these imaginations. And you can imagine, over the years, I've been in the show business for 37 years. This before blogs were happening, before there was social media, and then there was a point, I remember a distinct moment when it turned, and people had access to you online and access to your photos and could say anything that they wanted to say about you anonymously, and you would likely never meet these people, nor would you necessarily want to. Is that it says volumes about what they think of themselves. So what you just said, EJ, I want to point out, someone who's like, you want to be a business owner? How you think you're going to do that? Nobody in your family is a business owner. We don't even know how to do that. How you going to do that? That speaks to that person's fear and belief system, that they don't think that they can do it. I think. And the same with the person's like, you think you can go for it? Go for it. That means that that's what they believe, and how you believe and what you believe, and what you imagine the possibilities are for your life are the only thing that matters. And then what you do to get in action about it, well, then there's that, right?
Like case in point, and there's some of my coaching clients watching this, but case in point, you can ask any one of my coaching clients if I cheerlead them on. Do I cheerlead them on as a coach? No, because it doesn't matter. I hold space for the fact that they can have anything that they want, but I'm not gonna, they have to discover within themselves that they can have anything that they want. Nice. My job is to guide them to the discovery of that. Because when I'm no longer there, the only person they can rely on is themselves. And when you're trying to do something positive with your life, when you're trying to transform your experience and make it into something new, the only person you can rely on is you and the creator. Like, it's not your husband or wife or your sister, your daughter or your mom. None of those people. Those people have their own journey, their own purpose to fulfill on our purpose, our manifestation. The only reliable source is the creator and ourselves. And the thing that we have to do is get to trust ourselves, because we don't trust ourselves most of the time.
I'm going to confess to something else, EJ.
Confessions.
That made me mad the first time I figured that out. And Shamika here, I want to shout out Shamika. What did she just say? I just want to go back. Shamika, I lost the comment here. Andrews. She said something like, that's why her theme for the year is I'm in charge of my own vibe. So Shamika and anybody else listening, when I first figured that out, when I was studying, I started studying and really studying manifestation and getting really clear about what I thought it was and how I thought I was in control, I got a little mad because people go, well, just think differently, choose differently. You're in control of your own vibe. I'm like, no, but circumstances around me affect me. And I remember having a coach saying, you're choosing that. You choose to let all this outside influence affect you and tell you no and give you signs that it's not possible. It's all up to you. And I was like, I'm mad. You mean I could have been doing it. Part of me was mad that I hadn't figured it out yet. And part of it was really the responsibility of going, I am in control of my own vibe. I am in control of my own choices that I get to choose. And like I said, at first it angered me because I was well, that means I don't have any more excuses. That means I can't rely on anything or anyone else.
But that's
And
a powerful place to stand.
I understand that now, but at the time I was like, well, this is ridiculous. How could you say, what do you mean that outside influence? What do you mean that if I want a job, I can just say that I want it? Somebody else has to help me out with the hire me, whatever the thing was. And it's like, but you get to be in control of your own energy, and you will watch how the paths will open up for you. Opportunities will show up, synchronicities, things will fall in your lap like, oh, wait a minute, I cleaned up just a little bit of my energy. Oh, you mean I started making a few choices on my own? Oh, wait a minute. And you said something earlier. I started listening. You mean I shut out all the noise and I got quiet so that I could listen to God's voice? Oh, and God told me, and I listened, and I did it, and I see the results. You'll start doing it more and more. You'll start feeling it more and more. You'll start seeing it more and more. It starts with seeing it in your imagination first, and then getting in this inspired action. And take those steps that EJ just told you about, those 4 easy steps to integrate it all up and through here, and just watch the path be illuminated for you and the possibilities.
So Kim, I want to say thank you for this conversation on the Elev8ed Moment. Thanks everybody for your comments, your love and feedback in the comments. If you want to know more about what Elev8ed Guru offers, you can visit Elev8ed.guru, learn about our Elev8ed book club that happens every Thursday, where we read inspired books and then we have a great discussion about it. Or you might want to pick up some of our products at Elev8ed.guru. It's Elev8ed.guru.
May I just acknowledge you and show appreciation to you for being consistent, consistent by being a man of your word, by saying, I'm going to do this and then doing this, and by being a shining example of offering this Elev8ed book club every Thursday, where you show up and stay in that high vibration, by starting Elev8ed Guru, which, because we share office and we share life, I know how it started. I've listened to you record the video because I remember you talking about this dream these series of dreams that you were having, that you imagined it and then you made it happen. And on your website, there's this really beautiful manifestation journal that everybody buys their brand new journal at the beginning of the year, and it's still time to get this journal. It's so rich. Yes, the one that's on your desk right now. Mine is at home. It's a beautiful journal that has space for your manifestations, and a space for you to journal, and a space for you, if you're into crystals like we are, there's space to learn more about crystals, and there's space to practice some of the ancient ceremonies that our ancestors did by, looking at the moon, looking at the sun. Everything is available to us. And I just want to thank you for showing up and being an Elev8ed Guru yourself, and reminding each of us that we get to be the guru in our own lives. We get to make those choices and, hold hands with the divine, hold hearts with the divine on a regular basis. And that's what makes our lives magical and manifestational and beautiful. So thank you for showing up.
My pleasure. My pleasure. We just actually discounted these today.
Oh, because January's almost over?
Yeah,
so
awesome. They're like, we took $15
like
off.
$29.99 or something like that.
$29.99.
Awesome.
Now.
It's really stunning. Really stunning.
Great book. I think we have like a few left.
Some silver, some black.
Some black.
I have the silver. I almost wish I'd gotten the black. I may just buy a black one from you. I don't know. We'll see. That's if people don't buy them up from me instead. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks you for inviting me to participate. We say we're going to do this in 30 minutes and we never do. And thank you all for your kind words. Go to Elev8ed.guru for more information. And there's more to come. We've got all kinds of deliciousness that we partner together to share. And
the website for the for the journal or for the planner is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's
Yes.
Elev8ed Guru.
Do you have a link there for the book club as well?
I will put that in the show in the notes.
Okay, so come back and read the notes for the Elev8ed book club.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Or you can join the Manifest Me community on Facebook.
Or you can join the Manifest
That's
Me
Kim's community. You teach Tell them a little bit about the Manifest Me community.
So every month, the first Tuesday of every month, I do a live training around one of these kinds of topics around manifesting me, ME, which is the mirrored expression of who you say you want to be in the world, what you imagine for yourself, what you want to manifest. And weekly reflections that I post. I want you to come and share the manifestations that you are having. We're about to launch something called Manifestation Monday. I don't even know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's a live stream. I don't know what it is yet, because like I said, I booked this job that was a manifestation. I asked for something and I got it. And then I needed some rest. What now?
Magical manifester.
I'm a magical manifester. And so are you. So join the Manifest Me community. It's 100% free. And we have, like I said, coaching. EJ, actually, sometimes you come in there and coach, and I appreciate you for doing that, especially when I'm in bed resting. And lots more to come. Lots more products and services to help unlock this for you even more. And here's the other thing I want to say. The reason why this is important is because there is evidence out there that is in a space of fear and negativity and pain, and the world is falling down. And it's up to you to imagine the best version of your life. Imagine that you are abundant. Imagine that you are prosperous and healthy and whole and well. And it starts in here and it goes into your heart. And this is how you get to be a leader in your lifestyle. We need you to be a leader. We need you to be the ripple in the pond and to show people how it's done. Yay. And be the Elev8ed Guru in your life.
Yeah, there's an Elev8ed Guru in each and every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Elev8ed Guru is not one person. It's all of us.
Much needed.
It's all of us.
Thanks,
everybody. See y'all next week on the Elev8ed Moment.
Woo, woo, woo.
People probably want that t-shirt.
I know. I got to put this up for sale. They were, and now I got to get it back happening.